entire Yah-Space network on, for all I care. All those who hate me, I can care less. I'm on fire today. That's what worshiping Yahweh does to you. You ready?
Ready.
There's one doorway into revelation. And it's not learning. It's not Torah. It's not Shabbat. Shabbat is the entry into Israel. Shabbat is the first step in your return to the people of Israel. But that's not the first step to hearing his voice, Chris. The first step, and the main step, to hearing his voice, the doorway to revelation and intimacy, is worship. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Now, can we talk?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk.
Can we talk?
Oh yeah.
I'm a Bible scholar. That's a fact. I'm not boasting. I'm not being proudful or arrogant. I'm a Bible scholar. I speak Hebrew, study Aramaic, and edited the Restoration Scriptures, True Name Edition. I am a Bible scholar. But that doesn't mean that I know the Father's voice or Yeshua's voice. Because you can do ministry if someone like yourself or someone you know has talents. They can use those talents as carrots to dazzle you and dangle you. I can call for a healing crusade and fill the Broward Center for the Performing Arts with 4,000 people every Friday night. Bring the sick, bring the diseased, I'm going to lay hands and everybody's going to pop out a wheelchair. There wouldn't be a seat in the house. But tell people that they have to love Yahweh with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength. Follow the Shabbat, keep the feasts. The pickings are slim. No one wants to hear about obeying everything to the left of Matthew. No one's interested in obeying everything to the left because it's not dramatic. It's not spectacular. But Yahweh has a different midrash. Yahweh says obedience is better than sacrifice. And all those folks who get healed will one day die. How many know the death rate among born-again believers is the same as it is in the world?
That's for sure.
The exact same percentage, 100%. So therefore we are to seek the bread that comes from heaven. We are to seek the manna that comes from heaven. And the daily manna is his voice. Problem is, there's only one doorway into his voice. There's only one doorway into revelation. Didn't Yeshua say, I am the door? By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and go in and out and find pasture. My sheep hear my voice. He's the door to life. He's the door to salvation. He's the door to healing. He is the only way. He's not a way. He is the only way. Come on, somebody, talk to me.
Amen.
He's the only way. He's the only door. He's the only... And so, if he is the only door, he must be the only door to know God's voice. Because how many know you can be Jewish and not know Yeshua's voice? That's exactly what Brother Darrell was talking about before. Before Rabbi Moshe was a believer hearing Yeshua's voice, he was a Jewish person who didn't know how to hear Yeshua's voice. Now, let me let you in a little for a shock. You ready? Hold on to your kippas, all right? Hold on to your head. Ladies, hold on to your garments. Most pastors and preachers don't know how to hear his voice. Because they're too busy planning 9 services so they can get 9 offerings. Well, where's Elder Rudolph? I don't know. Have you seen Elder Rudolph? Yeah, last time I saw him, he was in the back joking. He was joking, counting, hanging out with his wife and a couple of the elders and their wives, while everybody else was worshiping Yahweh. Everybody else was in the service. They're back there, and then they roll them out every 45 minutes. 8:30, 9:15, 10:30, 11:45, so that at the end of the day, and then he goes home, has a beer, watches football, comes back to church at 6, and has another offering. It's a pretty good day at the job, wouldn't you say? 7 offerings in one day. They're professionals at what they do. But Yahweh's not looking for professionals. The doorway to revelation and intimacy, brothers and sisters, is worship. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
The Hebrew word for worship is, if you're taking notes, sagat. S-A-G-A-D, sagat. Or, oftentimes, the Hebrew is nishtachaveh, which means to prostrate, to bow down. Sometimes it's nishtachaveh, sometimes it's sagad. Other times the word is avdut. And I'm going to say that slow, Chris. When we worship Yahweh, sometimes he refers to it as avdut. Let's break that down. Avad, eved, slavery to Yahweh. We worship him as slaves. It's the same root word, eved, avdut. You follow me? Mm-hmm. And we have so many cultural hang-ups. When some of our brothers and sisters hear the word slavery, they shut down. That just shows you how the enemy works. Every one of us, regardless of our pigmentation, we are bought with a price. We are slaves to Yahweh. Every one of us. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. So the Hebrew word for sagad, in worship, is sagad. Or sometimes, as I mentioned, nishtachaveh, or lehishtachavot, or some form of that root, nishtachaveh. Means to prostrate, to bow down. The Aramaic word for worship, as it is written in the Brit Hadashah, is the Aramaic word seged. C-E-G-E-D. Seged means to prostrate, to fall down in deep homage. I'll say that again. To prostrate, to fall down. We're not talking about the human prostate. I'm not talking about the prostate, Vincent. To prostrate means to fall down, to give up. I give up! I don't care who's looking at me. I don't care who's staring at me. I don't care what people think. I give up. I worship you. I love you. Out of 7 billion people, there's a handful who know you and hear your voice. I fall down and I worship you. I bow down. I'm blown away. I'm blown away that you chose me. I didn't choose you, Yahshua. You chose me. Amen. The Aramaic is seged, to prostrate, to fall down in deep homage. The Greek, for those of you who still believe that the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, was written in Greek, which it was not, it was written in Aramaic, the sister language of Hebrew. But even in the Greek, the word is proskuneo. Prosko, same thing, root word, to prostrate oneself. Proskuneo, to fall down in adoration. Dictionary.com on the internet defines worship as an adoration of reverence and high regard. An adoration of reverence and high regard. That's why when we're worshiping, if you don't train your children to reverence his presence, they will grow up disrespecting his presence. I'm going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. I could, but I won't, because I don't want to offend people. We're small enough as it is. I'll use myself as an example so you don't get angry, think I'm picking on your children. When we used to do worship, some of you remember, my daughter was out in the parking lot. On the cell phone. I said, Rivka, get out there, get that girl in here now, or she is going to be in some big trouble when she gets home. She used the phone during Shabbat. She didn't reverence Yahweh's presence. No problem. No phone for a week. That'll teach her to reverence Yahweh's presence. Now can you relate to that? You don't think I'm picking on you, okay? I was going to pick on you. I was thinking about picking on you. I almost picked on you. Then I did a teshuvah and I decided not to pick on you. So I picked on myself. Whew. So it's an adoring reverence or regard. The children need to be here for worship. They need to do a number 1 or a number 2, no problem. During fellowship, when they're gorging themselves with donuts, send them out to do a number 1. But when we're worshiping Yahweh, right here, baby, this is where it's happening. This is where the action is, right here. The adoration and the reverence and the highest regard for the King who has bought us with a price. Amen. A worshiper is called an eved, as I mentioned earlier, a slave. A bondservant. Bondservant means you're in chains. You're in bondage, but in the most highest, beautiful way to Yahweh. It also means, these Hebrew and Aramaic words, workers, listen, or tillers of Yahweh's throne. I love that. Workers who till Yahweh's throne and his lordship on the earth in our life. They till